Well, we started at that end with the other. I was going to give you opportunity, but.
Go to repeat the question.
Okay. What, if anything, does the city do or fund that you believe is not really a proper function of city government?
It's maybe not what they fund, it's maybe what they should
Come
fund.
up here because he's taking
I haven't attended maybe a few council meetings, and so I really can't elaborate much on this. But I think there are some worthy causes out there. But I don't think we should be one of those agencies that everybody runs to for a handout. I think if it's voted on by city council and they think it's a worthwhile project, an endeavor, provided it's going to benefit the city. I just don't think we should be giving this group money, that group money, this individual money to do this or do that. But I think they need to take a long, hard look at where this extra money's going. Our budget's in good shape, and we need to build and save money as much as we can. But as far as giving money away, I just don't think we should give money away to just anybody. Everybody comes in asking for money. It's your tax dollars. I think if we're going to give away money, then you ought to have a say in where it's going. And here again, I think city council is very vital to this. It's their people that they're going to have to answer to. So with that, I'm going to leave it. If it's worthwhile and we're going to get something back in return, it's going to make us better, then I think we need to give money to the right people.
There are 7 people that vote on the budget, and we all participate in planning sessions. We invite people to participate with us in making these decisions. I will say this, I don't think there's anything that we spend that is not well needed by the entities that we support. We give money to senior options, we give money to the YMCA, we give money to support Lawrence in many ways, to support our quality of life. And if you think quality of life is not important, and that's why recreation is very important, and the new civic center, community center, recreation center is critical to economic development. If you talk to the leaders in our community, and I'm talking about Lawrence County Development Corporation, is set up with all of the major leaders in our community. And economic development is critical to Lawrence, and we're trying to recruit industry. You cannot recruit industry in here if you don't have things for them to come for. We are praying that ATW will come here, and I'm hopeful that they will. There's so many things that are close by that are going to happen, despite, you know, what people may think. It takes a long time to recruit industry. I see people in this room that know exactly what I'm talking about. Total quality of life is critical, and recreation is one part of it. We have great schools, we've got great hospital system, we have a lot really positive things that are going on for our community. As far as the YMCA is concerned, we've tried to work with the YMCA. I love the YMCA. The city supports the YMCA. Maybe you're saying that we should stop giving them the $20,000 that we give them each year. We do that to make sure that the Y is solid. They need our money, and they don't have room for us. Most of you were at the council meeting on Tuesday night. You heard with your own ears that the YMCA is very full, very involved with all types of things in the community. And right now, they couldn't even house our basketball program in their facility. And they can't house a lot of what the city is doing. So I would love to speak to you further about that, but on the clock and can't say anything else. Stop. I love that question. Sonny, I think you're safe. I think everybody loves you. I hired him, so I think I did a good job. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about is our departments and how they're set up. All of our department heads are very well trained. The police department are well trained. They're never paid enough. I will be the first to say that. There's only so much money in the pot. They get $2.2 million to run the police department, and that's over a third of what we take in for tax dollars, and there's still a lot of the city to pay for beyond that. We have made sure that the police department has had the latest tools and materials and equipment to be able to run our city. They have the best vehicles. We've made sure that we've got all of our vehicles on a rotation, and they should be replaced very periodically. They have the best weaponry, and the city is well served by these dedicated men and women. We got a lot of our police department here tonight. Gary Coleman, our city administrator, is here tonight. We got a few city council members. Our city is very well run. I can promise you that that the citizens are getting a big bang for the buck. And I know there's some concerns about streets and sanitation and the cost that department has. That is a well-run department too. We've looked at every department and we've streamlined it. We run it with a skeleton crew, and we're really doing a great job for this city. And I don't take any credit for it. Our department heads are awesome. They do a great job, and I can't see that any of them should fear because of an election that they might lose their jobs. So, thank you.
I think that's a totally unfair question for me, because my wife's employed at the police department. I have some really concerns about the police department. How many chiefs of police in South Carolina drive super sport Camaros, police cars? Why isn't he in a police car, a sedan? I worked for him for about 15 months. Spoke with him 3 times in my office. Like I said, it's a totally unfair question, because I don't have sire grades. I didn't want the chief's job. I didn't want the assistant chief's job. I was happy doing what I was doing. And I did it for a number of months without an assistant chief. You people better take a long, hard look at what's going on in that police department. A gag order. Can't talk about it while they're working. I don't blame them. We have a great group of guys that work up there, but I personally think the leadership's lacking. Looks good on paper, looks good in photographs. He is seldom there. I know, I've worked with him. I think the guy has a lot of potential. I think he can do a lot for the city. If elected, I'm not going to say he's safe or not safe. I'll have a long sit-down talk with him. But I can promise you this, he'll be in the police car if I'm elected. That sport car is gone. So left a lot of sour grapes. He doesn't know it. He knows it now. A lot of people in this town are not happy with what he drives. And a lot of the guys that work there are not happy that he is seldom there.
There is an agenda posted for every single meeting that we have, and the media and the public are invited. We do need to probably do a better job getting it more published. I'll admit that. I think it's a good idea. But we have been posting it, and people are advised of the agenda. There's no hidden agenda. There is nothing that we do that is any kind of a secret. All of our meetings are very open. They're open to the public, and we announce it to the media. And the media does a very good job of reporting everything that gets done in those meetings. And if we have an executive session and there's something to come out with, we make sure the media knows that what took place if they happen to leave and not stay. But the city is very transparent. There's certain things that you have to do that, like planning the civic center. Until you know that you're going to be able to do that, You can't just go out there and throw it out and talk about something that you don't even know that you're going to be able to do or afford to do. So there's a lot of legal work that goes into it and a lot of planning that goes in it to be able to have that civic center. So I am very pleased with the city council and our department heads and also the people that we did talk to about the need. There seems to be some concern about having the civic center. I don't really understand that because it's such an important part of what we need to do for our community. Our citizens, our children, our families, everybody in this room deserves to have a good quality of life. And if you don't have a good quality of life, you're not going to build rooftops, meeting houses, and you're not going to have industry come here. And that's been a very important part of what the city has been trying to do. And our city council, we've got one city council member here tonight, Mark Lowry, and he can vouch for everything that I'm saying. But anyhow, there is transparency. It may not be the perfect kind of transparency, but we do have it.
Transparency to me is looking out that window, and there's nothing hiding you from looking out that window, people looking at you. I have to agree with Mayor Brownlee. Every meeting is posted. I have been, the ones I've been to, the press has been there, the radio station's been there. So, you know, you've just got to take it upon yourself to know that City Council meets the third Tuesday of every month. So if you're not there, you're not there. But like these other candidates, that meeting will be advertised. It'll be open to you. You'll have a chance to speak. You'll have a chance to air your opinions. And here again, I'd encourage you to go through your council members. You know who your council members are. Talk with them. And I really want them to really be educated when they walk into that meeting to know what they were talking about and not all of a sudden be handed something and so we've got to vote on this. I want them to have the time to study proposals. Nothing to hide. I'm going to tell you. You see me, I don't have anything to hide from you. And I won't hide it from you. You ask me my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to give it to you straight as I see it from the book of John. It's just like this little old lady came home from church one night, caught a prowler in her house, and all she could think about was to holler, Acts 2:38. The man froze in his footsteps. She called the police got there. The police asked her, why didn't you run? This is a little old lady. Well, she had an Acts in 2:38.
I'm happy to report there are no taxes that we're implementing in any way for our citizens. The city of Lawrence has enjoyed a low rate of taxes. There's only been one increase in taxes in the city of Lawrence in 30 years or better. So, you know, I think we're getting a lot of good benefit from the taxes that we pay. The city of Lawrence pays, like I said, about $2.2 million. It pays for the police department only. Other revenues take care of the rest of the departments in running the city. So, you know, if there could be tax increases, you know, I don't see them on the horizon because I don't think there's anybody that's serving currently or any of these elected officials that would be talking about raising taxes. We're actually doing a very good job with what we're taking in. So thanks.
Jeff, I'm sorry y'all lost tonight. I'm an old Woodruff boy by heart, but I knew they were playing today. I worked in Woodruff today, so up there. No tax increases. I got a copy of the budget. I mean, we're making, we're able to save a little bit of money this year. And I think the whole key is we really got to look at what we're doing and how we're doing it, and if we can save money and build a surplus for that rainy day, because that rainy day will be coming before you know it. You got personal budgets at home. I mean, we know what we're going to get to bring in. We know what we got to spend. I'd like to give everybody in all the departments a 3% raise. That means is raising taxes for the most part, and I don't want to raise my own taxes. Don't want to raise yours. But I think that Gary and council and the mayor have done a good job in holding the line. But we got to find a way to generate more revenue. But just like everybody else, no tax increase.
Most of the candidates probably will stay around a little bit, but the people who run this building, it won't be long till they'll start coming and want to turn the lights down. So this is the last question, and if you could do it in a minute, that would even be good too. Ronald Reagan once said, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government and I'm here to help.'" What is your philosophy on how government regulation and codes would be either a benefit to the city, or how do you think they would harm it? And Ms. Brownlee, you get to go first on that.
What was that question? Read it again.
Okay. What is your philosophy on how government regulation and codes would be a benefit to your city, or how do you think they would harm it?
Regulations and codes. We all have to have rules to go by, and we have to have rules to protect all of our citizens. We don't want the city to be just running rampant with nothing to protect all the people, all the properties. So we do have good, strong building codes, and we have a good enforcement officer. Clay Riker does a good job with enforcing codes, and it's not an easy job to do because there's a lot of legal ramifications of anything you do with any type of property. So less government, I believe in it. I believe in some of the Tea Party's ideas and what they would like to see happen in the United States, and particularly the federal government. The federal government is killing all of us. Small business, I've been in big business at the glass plant. I've managed $300 million in buying goods and services to 7 glass plants. That's my background. I'm also a small business owner, so I know how hard it is to make ends meet. There's always taxes to pay. I feel like I work most of my life for taxes. Believe me, I do. I think I work 6 to 8 months every year just to pay taxes. And but as far as the city goes, city taxes are minimal, and you get a lot of services for it. And downtown is one of the most difficult situations that we have because all those buildings are old, and the South Carolina International Building Codes require all those buildings to be sprinkled if they have dual purpose, meaning apartments upstairs and businesses downstairs. So, and that's a very expensive proposition. I know one candidate said something about maybe we need to tear some of the buildings down to get them in code. That would just ruin downtown for sure. But money is tight. Ever since the down economy, 2008 particularly, the city has been working very hard to try and get downtown rebuilt. Got to stop again, I'm sorry.
John, you're next.
I'm just going to give Jeff one of my minutes. Without rules and regulations, our society would be in utter chaos. And I'm beginning to wonder, with all the rules and regulations, if we're not in chaos. But we got to have the rules. I'm not real happy personally about some of the things that occurred to me. I invested some money several years back. When I took it out, Uncle Sam got all the money that I had earned on it through taxes. I think less interference from the government is profitable for everybody. Codes, I think we have to have the codes, building codes. Without it, again, you'd have anything being built anyway. So here again, less to me is better. But we have to have some societal measures in place we're going to survive as a society. Thank you.
1 minute, we're gonna let her respond.
I won't even
about-
walk up there. I wanted to say something about the restaurant bar that just moved in down where River Tracks was next to the children's park. I will tell you that we looked every which way under the sun to try and stop that from happening. We did stop what they were planning. When they met with the city, it was going to be a restaurant, and they were going to serve quesadillas, and they were going to be able to have a safe place for families to come and eat. Well, then we found out it was going to be a sex bar with a pole and cages and all that. Our police department, Sonny Letter, they all went down there. We got all that stopped, but you can't stop certain businesses from opening because it's against state law if you prevent anybody from opening a business unless you have a rule or reg about it. In that particular case, I would say I spent many a night worrying about that place opening up. They wanted to open up Christmas Eve, and we worked hard to get the sex end of it stopped, but it's still there, and it's a rough place. Our police officers are down there. Some of them go regularly to make sure that they're not breaking the law by putting in more of their intentions, which I think they'll get there.
Thank you. Okay, that's the end of our meeting tonight. Thank all of you for